The NFL sent out a memo to all teams on Wednesday telling them something they already knew. If a player works out anywhere but at the club facility and suffers an injury that prevents him from playing, he need not be paid. Even if that player is working out in an effort to get himself ready for the season, you still face the loss of your salary. It's something that the teams can determine on a player-by-player basis. It's a rule that's been in place, I'm told, since 1977. You get injured away from work.
That's right.
This isn't just a skydiving, rock climbing,
skiing,
motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
No, this is, I'm going down to Planet Fitness and I'm going to get myself in shape because training camp's coming. Oh, well,
yeah.
You blew out an Achilles. Sucks for you. We don't pay you. And that memo, I don't need anyone from the league to tell me this, to know this one. That memo wasn't meant for the teams.
Definitely
they already
not.
got that memo.
Right.
This memo was seizing on the Juwan James situation to both rub it in the faces of the NFLPA, increase whatever division there may be between management and rank and file, and let the players know.
Yeah, that's
Hey, guys.
Right.
You need to get your asses to work.
Right.
Because you got free insurance. You get your medical care provided for. You think that the Broncos are going to pay for Juwan James' Achilles tendon repair? Hell no. And they ain't going to pay him his $10 million. They're not going to honor his guarantees. They're not going to kick him to next year, and they're going to void his guarantees. And they may go get $3 million of his signing bonus money. I mean, that's the risk you take. And it's a shame that Juwan James ends up being the guinea pig for this experiment that the NFLPA launched. But that's what's going on. And Chris, just earlier this week, the union was trying to get the rookies and the undrafted free agents to not show up for rookie minicamp. And the agents who are on the call, I'm told someone were like, what the hell are you trying to do? Of course these guys are going to go. For a lot of the guys, where else are they going to live? They put them up in a hotel. They give them free room and board while they're trying to get settled into their new town. It's the perfect transition. You got 5-6 weeks where you're staying in a hotel. It doesn't cost you a penny. You're getting fed every day, and you're also putting in the work necessary to get your coach to think, maybe this is a guy I want to keep on my roster. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous, and we always support the players, and we are supporting the players.
We are.
We're just not supporting. We're not supporting the
people that
veteran
are telling
players
them,
who have a warped view of what's right for the young players.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, at least that's the way I view it. I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand, I mean, really what the NFLPA is thinking with this whole approach. And you're right. It seems like it's just the veteran players have hijacked the situation completely. But in no way does it do anybody really any good to be away from the facility. And what I would say to any players out there like that are watching the show, or if I had to talk to any of them, unless you are absolutely one of the 2 or 3 best players on the team and at a young part of your career, right? Like the guy that's a good player, like just a good player, let's say the top 3 or 4 best players. Let's say it's the 7th or 8th best player, and he's in year 8 or 9, and you've got a pretty good salary cap number. Like, you got to get your butt in there. I mean, it's the Juwan James situation. All those guys. So, like, if you're not a star, if you're not a Mahomes or Chris Jones or Tyreek Hill or the 1st-round pick or the 2nd-round pick, then you need to get your ass in the facility because the rest of you are all subject to be Juwan James, right? That's a new phrase. You got Juwan James. You get hurt, they're going to screw you over. They're not going to pay you. There's a civil war going on right now between the NFL and the NFLPA, and this is the NFL's greatest avenue to support their coaches to get the players back in the facility and running a football team the way it should be run, not the way some older veteran players think it should be run. It makes no sense what the NFLPA is doing right now.
I was talking to a coach about this yesterday, and we were trying to figure out where that break-even point is for the young players, and I think you hit it. Round 3 is where you need to be there because round 3, you're going to be on the bench if you don't show up.
Right.
Round 4, you may be gone.
Right.
5, 6, 7, probably will be gone. Undrafted free agent. I'm not coming to the voluntary offseason program. All right, you're not coming at all then.
Right.
See ya. Right. We'll cut you, and we'll go find somebody else. So, this is all – and that's the other thing, too. If you want to exert leverage against the league, you don't pick a fight that is only going to piss off the coaches. The league doesn't care about this. The owners don't care. It doesn't cost them any money if the guys don't show up. In fact, they save the per diem. They save the hotel room rate. They save the food. And if someone gets Juwan James, they save $10 million.
Yeah, that's right.
So the owners are not troubled by this. The owners are far less troubled by this than they are by a strike. A strike, they'll go find other players. Well, you know what? You don't show up for off-season workouts, we already got other players. And you get injured on your own, we already got other players. We're going to have 53 when September rolls around, and those 53 are going to be ready. And if you don't want to be one of them, that's your call.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why this thing is so bizarre to me. And, Chris, people still can't figure out what's going on. There isn't a clear message from the union as to why they're doing this. They use the pandemic as the cover for it. They don't care about the pandemic.
No, they
if they
don't.
Did, go get vaccinated. If they did, right, why are you concerned about protocols that worked last year and that are safer than if you go down
everywhere
to
else?
Fitness,
right?
Presumably,
right.
You've got guys who are still upset about the 17-game season. Well, that was coming no matter what. It's either going to come through negotiations the easy way or it's going to come through a lockout the hard way. And then you just got the veterans who don't want to go, and they don't want the young guys to be there either, who are going to potentially take their jobs. And so it's this amalgamation of reasons. And this is just a fight not to have. And I think the reason why, and I don't know this, but I think D. Smith, the NFLPA executive director, is probably not fighting this because he thinks this is the way that some of these guys who are still pissed off about what happened last year, because there were plenty of guys who were against the CBA, this is kind of their way to work it out of their system. Like politically, internally, let's go ahead and let those guys, they're mad.
Right.
They got some steam that they want to release. Let's let them release their steam this way, which is fine for them. It's not fine for Juwan James, who's out $10 million and maybe a lot more.
Well, that's why it's like the other thing that I hope resonate, right? I don't know if you had the id on the end of that or not, with people or fans out there, is just, again, what anything showed and something you've brought up, and of course I know too, because I've witnessed it, how many players are clueless about the rules and laws of the NFL and the CBA. They don't really know. They have no idea. I mean, could it be any more shocking that the biggest star in our sport, the number one guy, was like, wait, what? He was working out for football and they're not going to pay him? Guys don't know a lot of the ins and outs and details of what's going on in the league, especially with this type of stuff. It's really rare. In their locker room, in my experience, I would say it's like a handful of guys that really understand, all those different things. Like when I was in Tampa, right? Hey, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, trying to think of some other guys that probably were all over it. Like Brian Greasy was there with me, all over it. Brad Johnson, they understood everything that was going on. You could go to them and ask them. But the rest of the guys were totally clueless. And if they didn't ask or have like some questions about this or that or this, they didn't know. Oh, I'm going to play basketball today. Oh, what? I tore my ACL. You're not going to pay me? Yeah, I didn't know that was a rule. That's very common. And that's just it's a big issue if the NFLPA wants to get some more power in this situation or any situation.
And it's a significant element of power that the teams have, that they can decide player by player. And if Patrick Mahomes, and Shereen Williams mentioned last night, he's down in Texas working out, if he pops an Achilles, the Chiefs aren't going to do anything about it. And there are certain guys on every team that are still going to get their money. Remember when Teddy Bruschi had a stroke and he had a hole in his heart and missed a season? Patriots still paid him, right? He was a core member of the team. They loved the guy. He did everything right. He checked every box. He was a leader. They weren't going to stiff him. But if he was a guy who'd been a constant pain in the ass and not showing up for voluntary off-season workouts and agitating and doing his own thing and, just being they're not going to pay that guy.
No.
That's sorry, we don't have any responsibility to you. So the teams have a huge amount of power. The players need to understand that, and each individual player needs to make that decision. Do I work out on my own, Do I work out at the facility? Do I sit on the couch, wrap myself in bubble wrap, eat pork rinds, and watch bowling Homer Simpson style? You got to make that decision with your agent. What's right for you given your relationship with the team, your contractual realities? And I'd say for most teams, most players, probably a good idea if you're going to work out at all to work out at the team facility.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.